Friendo, Steve here.
And Larson.
Yeah, welcome back to Going In Raw, the only pro wrestling podcast you need to be listening to right here at youtube.com/Steve and Larson. Available wherever podcasts can be found, and of course, taped live at the Twitch at twitch.tv/Steve and Larson. We're going to be reviewing last night's NXT 2.0 and giving some early predictions, anyways, for the upcoming Halloween Havoc. At least our thoughts on the direction of NXT 2.0 and what Halloween Havoc means for that. And we also have some news, some G1 final news, some AEW Impact Dream Match news. But first, I want to let you guys know, if you like Going In Raw and you want it ad-free in the audio realm, you can get that at goinginraw.supercast.tech for $3 a month. The show ad-free. If you enjoy bonus content, we do a couple bonus episodes every single week at patreon.com/Steve and Larson. $5 a month, you get the show, the entire show of Going In Raw in the audio realm, ad-free, plus the 2 bonus episodes every single week that we do. Yesterday, it was a really fun one. We did the top 10 most controversial wrestling pay-per-views. Yeah, a couple obvious choices in there, but I thought it was a pretty decent episode.
Yeah.
Bonus content for you. So anyways, we got that going for us. And then, of course, tomorrow on the YouTube, we're going to be doing our live reactions to Crown Jewel, also known here at the Going In Raw universe as Crown Royal, because it's
correct.
It's funnier to call name it after an alcoholic beverage. So we got that going on. And then, of course, on Saturday.
Oh, gosh.
24-hour stream on the Twitch. Gonna be up for an entire literal day doing our thing, man. So that's exciting. That's awesome. I'm looking forward to it.
It's not exciting. It's not exciting.
Keep on forgetting. I'm just stumbling into this thing with no preparation whatsoever. But then the cool thing is, the next morning, the successful morning after, we're going to DoorDash ourselves some Denny's and do a live review of some various Denny's breakfast plates. You're excited about that, right? Yeah. Play some GTA, do some movie watch-alongs, do some Smash Zone stuff. Oh, it's going to be a blast.
It's going to be agonizing.
Zoom some friendos in during a special, whatever it is, Matt Chat or whatever we call it. Friendo Fest Zoom in special session. It's good stuff. Anyways, what do you want to talk about first today here on the show?
Let's talk about dream matches. We like dream matches. Apparently, there's been pitches made to have an AEW Impact dream match between 2 champs. So Fightful Select, go subscribe to Fightful Select. Has this. So Fightful spoke with Deanna Prazo ahead of this weekend's Bound for Glory pay-per-view, which we'll be watching during our 24-hour stream. And she mentioned that she's pitched to Impact exec Scott D'Amore a potential bout against AEW's women's champ, Britt Baker, and noted that Britt had talked to Tony Khan about some sort of crossover between the 2 companies involving the champions. Perazzo added that, of course, with them both being champs, having a match, deciding on a winner, especially with Deanna now, being booked as a really, 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 really dominant champ. Britt being booked really, really strong now too. Getting a finish that works for everybody, bit of an issue, but the prospect of that match is pretty cool. I'd love to see it.
I'd love to see it. I think, I'll be honest with you, I think that fans would be forgiving of a time limit draw. I really do. I think that to see these 2 just wrestle, just go at it for 30 minutes, and you don't need. I think I'd rather that than
finish.
Even when we criticized WWE, for example, this past Monday, what we saw in the main event, I would have been fine with a draw, with a time limit draw. I would have been fine with that, because it's whoa, Bianca went toe to toe with Charlotte and she lasted the entire way. This is a mountain to climb, but they don't do that.
They don't do that. They don't ever do time limit draws.
No, they really don't. But I get that, you don't want to rely on that too much. They just did that with Kenny versus Bryan Danielson. But still, if a dream match situation is available, I mean, I don't know. I don't know, like, what's the Mickey James is the match for Deonna Purrazzo at Bound for Glory.
Bound for Glory, yeah.
I mean, I don't know that they would do a title change there. Probably not, but this isn't WWE. I would love to see outside the WWE, those promotions start booking older talent the way WWE does in their promotion for men. Because you can, Brock Lesnar, Goldberg, perfect example, 55 years old, he comes in, he's dominant still some way. The guy can barely move in the ring, and he's dominant. Why wouldn't that philosophy extend? But if you look at their women's division, they bring in Mickey James, and she's like jobbing out to everybody.
Yeah.
Why don't you apply that philosophy? That lots of promotions do with the men as well. Like Christian shows up, he's like 47 years old or whatever, and he's able to beat a young stud like Hobbs, So I'd love for Impact to be the promotion that's like, hey, wait a second. We're going to start using some of these philosophies that apply to the men in various promotions with the women. Mickey James comes in. What if she beats Deonna Purrazzo? I'm probably not going to bet on that. I'm probably not going to put my predictions on that. But I think it'd be an interesting approach to do that, especially all the work Mickey James has put in.
I know.
But maybe if that's the case at Bound for Glory, Deonna Purrazzo no longer has to worry about being all that protected. Maybe she can come in and take a loss against Britt Baker. I don't know. But again, a lot of these promotions outside WWE, they have a lot of cool pieces in place. You can do cool stuff, and oftentimes they have.
Mm-hmm.
I'd love to see some dream matches like that.
Oh, heck yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of dream matches, we got our G1 final set over in New Japan. It's a match we saw just last year. But anyways, it's still a great match.
Sorry, great good point here from Dang MQ. Mercedes Martinez won that tournament for a title shot.
Oh, that's right.
Maybe Impact is going in that direction. I'm sorry, go ahead. Yeah, G1 final.
So, yeah, G1 final. Not exactly a dream match because we've seen it before, but it's great nonetheless. So Kota Ibushi, a couple days ago, defeated Kenta to win the A block. Last night, Kazuchika Okada defeated the, up to that point, undefeated Jeff Cobb in round robin action, and he won B block. So tonight, they are facing off to determine who wins the G1, who gets title shot at Wrestle Kingdom.
Are you still with now we have our I still have to decorate the back of that Money in the Bank.
We had our own G1 pool.
Yeah.
You and I are tied heading into this final bout.
Yeah.
57 points apiece.
We were down by 1
You were down by 3 and I was down by 1 or 2 to the enforcer heading into last night.
Yeah.
So it all comes down to this final match. I picked Okada to win at the beginning. You picked Kota Ibushi. I feel like it could go either way.
Yeah, sure.
This is the 4th year in a row Kota Ibushi has made to the finals of the G1. He's going for his 3rd win in a row. It just seems like a lot. The reason I picked Okada to begin with is because I thought they were booking to a Ospreay Okada match at Wrestle Kingdom where Okada would get the belt off Ospreay. Of course, Ospreay got hurt. They had the match between Okada and Shingo to crown a new champion. Shingo won that. I don't know if they're going to continue the story kind of with Okada beating Shingo at Wrestle Kingdom. Also, that's originally why I picked Okada, because I thought maybe because we kind of seen that in the past where they had a story, something happens, they just kind of continue the story and someone fills in that spot. Also, in A block action, Kota Ibushi beat Shingo during the round robin phase, where they revisit that match, the main event of Wrestle Kingdom, just less than 3 months later. I don't know. I'm still thinking Okada's going to win, and he'll face off against Shingo. But then you got to think about, all right, there's always, if you win the briefcase, you got to defend it between now and Wrestle Kingdom. Okada only lost to Tama Tonga during the tournament. Will they have a one-on-one match for the briefcase, or will they do Kota Ibushi if he wins versus Zack Sabre Jr.? Zack beat Kota. There's just a lot of moving pieces in play. I don't know how it's going to go.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. My head says Okada, my heart says Ibushi. I chose Ibushi because I think they're in this mode right now where, Okada came out really, really strong, and Ibushi literally lost his first match against the Tokyo Pimp.
Yeah, he lost 2 of his first 3 matches.
Yeah, and so I could see that being hey, he started off weak and he's going to finish really strong. Okada started really strong. He was able to topple Jeff Cobb, who's booked like a monster these days. I don't know how the Road to stories play. I have no idea because, like you said, there are so many moving pieces. You got Will Ospreay there. You got Shingo. You got Zack Sabre Jr. You still have Jeff Cobb in some way, shape, or form. My head says Okada because I feel like New Japan needs to simplify things a little bit, and Okada's a big name at the same time. And on top of that, there is Ibushi. I don't know what his physical status is like. Like that thing that would have, like pneumonia or whatever he had, seemed pretty serious. And I don't know that they'd want to run him through what it would take to get to Wrestle Kingdom and all those matches you're talking about. So I just don't know, but it wouldn't shock me if I think he's tied. Like I forget who it was, but somebody else has won 2 consecutive.
I think didn't Tenzon?
That sounds right.
G1s?
Nobody's done 3 in a row.
Nope.
And they might want to be in record-breaking mode right now so they can say, yes, oh, he's got this. So yeah, there's all that. I mean, he's never he lost the title to Ospreay. So
he was supposed to have a bout against Shingo at one of the summer shows,
yeah.
But then the pneumonia happened. So.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll see. I'm sticking with my pick for Ibushi because that's what we picked it in. When we went into this thing, I thought 3 in a row sounds nice, and that's why I went with it. I'm like 3 in a row sounds good. Sure, why not? So the winner between you and me now, because the enforcer is mathematically out of it, the winner gets the briefcase, and that gets you extra points at Wrestle Kingdom, similar to. That's where the title shot comes.
Okay, so since it's been dubbed the G1 tournament in 1991, so Chono won it 2 years in a row, Tenzon won it 2 years in a row, and that's it. If you go back to previous names, and like Inoki won it 4 years in a row.
Joe, yeah,
and then 3 years in a row later on.
Joe Ora says Okada winning might feel a little bit like a return to some normalcy prior to the wonky booking and the Elite leaving the pandemic. But I've been saying that for a little while now that, they're going to put Okada back. They're going to put Okada. Maybe now that pandemic is on the wind down anyways, maybe they will try to sort of reset with Okada at the top. That would make some sense. I don't know. I mean, honestly, their booking is sort of off the wall weird these days anyways. I never know what to believe. I do really love that Zack Sabre Jr. and Jeff Cobb are 2 guys that really had great G1, especially last year's Zack Sabre Jr. Jeff Cobb has been a guy that you and I have liked for a long time now.
Oh, yeah.
And it's been great seeing him come up. He's being booked like a monster now. So that's been some real positives out of this G1.
Definitely. It's still weird to me that they had Kota Ibushi win the title last year at Wrestle Kingdom, create a new belt after merging the titles, and then had him lose it so quickly thereafter. That still is a bit of a head scratcher for me.
That is really weird.
Why didn't they give Kota like a good run with it? I don't know.
I wonder. Yeah, I still kind of wonder if there was some behind the scenes stuff that we just weren't privy to. I don't know. I don't really keep up with that all that much. Maybe that info is out there in some way, shape, or form. I don't know how long after that was it that he got that he fell.
Oh, it was a few months.
It was a few months
because he lost it in the spring to Ospreay, and then it wasn't until summer. That he got sick. So
yeah. All right, let's take a quick break here to get a word in from our sponsor, Simply Safe. Larson, when you're like Steve and you have a house full of gold, of course I'm talking about those championship predictions titles back there, you need to keep your home safe, man. And I've got some big news about my favorite home security company. Simply Safe has a brand new wireless outdoor security camera that is engineered with all the advanced tech and security features you need to help keep you, your family, and your titles safe.
That's right. Simply Safe, the system that was already named by U.S. News and World Report the best home security system of 2021, has gotten even better. This new wireless outdoor security camera has got an ultra-wide field of view so you can watch your entire yard, plus 1080p. That's high-definition resolution, so you can zoom in and clearly see things like faces, license plates, and a built-in spotlight with color night vision so you can keep an eye on what's going on either day or night.
That's right, man. And the camera integrates with your Simply Safe home security system, meaning your protection extends outside. Together, it means every door, every window, and every room are protected. And now your property, including your championship belts, will be protected too.
To learn more about the exciting new Simply Safe wireless outdoor security camera, visit simplysafe.com/raw. What's more, Simply Safe is celebrating this new camera by offering 20% off your entire new system and your first month of monitoring service free when you enroll in interactive monitoring.
Again, that's simplysafe.com/raw. Anyways, let's talk about NXT. It's the go home to Halloween Havoc. Did anything in this episode help you form or better educate your thoughts on the two main title matches? Of course, we have Frankie Monet versus Mandy Rose versus Raquel Gonzalez, and we've got Tommaso Ciampa, the big one, versus Braun Breaker. That's a real sort of head scratcher. And did you come away with anything here?
No, nothing. There was a video package for Mandy and Raquel. They had a can they coexist tag match between Braun and Ciampa. No physicality between the two of them afterwards. So no, I got no indication where they're leaning either way. You know, for the title match, I thought Joe Gacy might be a bit of a wild card in terms of getting involved in that bout to some extent. It doesn't seem like that's gonna happen based on the little segment they had last night. Although based on that, I kind of feel a little better about my theory. It's some sort of Fight Club thing where Harlan's a bit of a projection of some aspect of himself that he's trying to, hide away.
Mm-hmm. It's funny because watching that, I feel better about my assertion that he's a reformed Proud Boy. I mean, they're in prison. Maybe Harlan. Where was Harlan on January 6th? I'm just saying. Where was he?
So it was hard to tell because like there was like a pane of glass or like a two-way mirror or something like that.
Clearly in prison. He was clearly in prison.
Well, I didn't know if he was clearly in prison because all you saw was his reflection in the glass. I didn't know. It didn't look like he had like a prison uniform on.
His whole garb looks like a prison uniform.
Well, I know, but it's not orange.
No, but that'd be two nails. I think these days in prison, like whenever I watch Dateline and they interview like a person in prison, they always put it like in a nice set so you don't know the guy's in prison. And then they just get up and he's like, oh, wow, look at that. He's wearing like a blue jumpsuit. I think a lot of times they have blue jumpsuits.
Well, usually they're kind of like earth tones.
Yeah. Or bright orange.
Yeah, I think that's when you go to court when you're arraigned and stuff. Charged formally. You get the bright orange jumpsuit.
Yeah.
This is just based on watching TV. I don't know.
Yeah, right.
Not Law and Order. These are like from news reports and watching, like Dateline and stuff.
I watch funny court TikTok videos. Like when a guy who's up for like some crime, like a bank robber, starts serenading the judge, or the one where the judge knew the dude from elementary school and was like, "Look at how far you've fallen," and he starts crying. She's like, "I'm really pulling for you, man." Yeah, it's wild. There's a lot of crazy stuff in the world, man. So getting back to it though, are you still like you seem pretty certain before Braun Breaker is as soon as possible? I don't know.
No, I believe I softened on that last week.
Did you? Okay. Because of the Joe Gacy thing, but now that's clearly not a thing. I honestly don't know. I get the feeling that it's gonna stay with Ciampa. I just get that feeling that it's gonna stay with Ciampa. I get the feeling it's gonna be more of a chase there.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me at all.
He's been a good kid. By the way, where is Samoa Joe? Why? Remember that time he came out of like, he was cleared and then he had matches and then he was gone.
He's hurt. He said he got hurt. And that's why he had to vacate the belt. He got hurt. There was never like I thought, did he actually say he got hurt? He said he wasn't medically cleared. Oh, medically cleared. That's what it was. Well, the assumption I guess would be injury then.
Yeah, that's a deep assumption to make these days, man.
Well, usually when they say they're not medically clear, that usually means, at least on television, they're suffered some sort of injury.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was weird. I wonder if they were just like, yeah, okay, you came back, you did what you're supposed to do, and he's working in the front office now. I think he's out like recruiting people or something. Anyways, the new Braun Breakers of the world. Yeah, I don't know. I just get the feeling. I don't think, I'll put it this way. I just don't think it's been enough. I don't think it's been enough. I think they need more to justify Braun Breaker. And today, by the way, in about 3 minutes and change, we're going to find out what these ratings are going to be looking like, which kind of matters with NXT. Like, okay, is this experiment working? I do feel like last night was probably going to be one of the first nights where nobody's really talking about it anymore. You know, we all know what it is now. So are they going to be able to build on that? Is it going to maintain around that 650 overall viewership?
I think if they keep going as they are now. I mean, I thought last week was a pretty solid episode because the pace of the show was good. And I kind of felt like this week they kind of fell back a little bit into the habits they had earlier on, where there's a lot more talky stuff. Matches were kind of a little more on the shorter side.
They were. The matches were really short last night.
And when that happens, it's hard for me to keep my interest in the show. Because the problem is I don't find a lot of the stories they're telling in NXT 2.0 terribly intriguing.
Yeah, they're not. They're really not.
Most of them are just very simple, which simple isn't necessarily bad or boring, but they're just simple without any detail or layers added to it that would make it a little more interesting than just, hey, we're going to fight now. At least like in NXT UK, they keep the story simple and motivate the matches, based on the simplest motivation. But the personalities are enough to keep me invested. And right now, I'm not invested in a whole lot of the personalities in this new NXT.
You need a balance. You need a balance of, look, if you're not going to have one thing, you better have something else. If you're not going to have compelling stories, you better damn well have good wrestling. And that was sort of NXT's thing. It was, the stories weren't always necessarily compelling, but at the very least, you always had really good wrestling.
Well, that's the thing in NXT UK too, is the stories are generally motivated by the flimsiest of things, but the wrestling is usually pretty good. And the personalities are so established there, and everybody seems to have such good chemistry.
Yeah.
That even if the story is, hey, you bumped into me at the gym, let's have a match, what follows that is usually pretty good. And the other thing about that is it generally doesn't overstay its welcome.
Yeah, it's only an hour a week. It's awesome. With this, it's like you've got thin stories, thin motivation, characters who aren't fleshed out, and then matches. It'd be, okay, cool. That's fine if you have like a 15-minute match, but you end up with like a 2-minute, like literally, like so many of the matches last night reverted back to 2 to 3 minute matches. Like LA Knight versus Grayson Waller was like a 2.5 minute match.
And like, what's the point? What's the point?
Yeah.
And especially when the outcome, while not certain, seems like, oh, well, LA Knight's going to win this.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. So it does. I mean, it's there are some bright spots. I thought last night's was it was on par with as entertaining as it was last week. It's just last week we had better wrestling. I thought once again NXT 2.0, I will give it this. It's never dry. It's never boring. It's either legitimately entertaining. It's like 40% legitimately entertaining, 60% ironically fun to watch. Because it's like, oh man, look at this Tony D'Angelo match. Last 2 weeks ago, you had a Tony D'Angelo match that was him versus a smaller, quicker opponent. This week, it was the same match, but adjusted for large opponent. And so it's literally, as you said this was going to be, or predicted that the possibility was there, these guys that were signed in February learning how to wrestle for TV. They got the basics. Now in front of us on cable TV, they're learning how to put together matches. And that ain't going to make for the...
Or learning how to put together a match against various opponents.
Against various sized opponents.
Yeah.
And it doesn't work. And unfortunately, in some cases, now I don't know. I've not done my research on JC Jane. I forget if she's
wrestled for a while.
She's wrestled for a while. That suicide dive that took her out was pretty gnarly. I mean, we've seen suicide dives take out veterans before. They're dumb moves. I'm not a fan of those unless your name is Phoenix or Darby Allin, to be honest with you. I can't stand when Big E does the spear suicide dive. I can't stand that stuff. It just scares the crap out of me. I think there's just too much to go wrong. In my non-wrestler, I'm not a wrestler, but I'm going to give my opinion.
I hear you. I mean, suicide dives have become at one point a high spot in a match. Have become kind of so mundane that we kind of grown used to them until you see one that kind of goes wrong and you realize, oh, those are actually really damn dangerous. you know.
Oh, that's interesting. Roman Empire, thank you for this. He says jumpsuit colors denote why you're in prison. Orange is violent or unruly. Blue is low threat, non-violent. Green is suicide watch, and for those charged with murder, etc. Wow. So that's like green is like a heavy one. Where Harland, I think, wears dark blue. So maybe he's a low threat, non-violent. Where was he on January 6th? I don't know. So
I don't know, but a lot of what he's been doing around the ringside area seems very violent to me. So I don't know.
He does seem like a violent type.
He seems. But then
violent. He could be swayed by a simple.
I'm telling you, because there's a connection there.
So is this like he's an imagine? He's like you said he's the id. He's Joe Gacy's Tyler Durden. Yeah, but so you're saying that Harland is Joe Gacy and Joe Gacy is Harland.
Uh-huh.
I like that. That's good. How are they going to relate that to like what's the reveal going to be? That's great. What a great idea.
I don't know if there's going to be a reveal. It's just going to be like, this is the basis for the idea. Where's it go? I don't know. I don't know. You tell me.
Maggie says, "Hey, big guy, sun's getting real low." He's Hulk. Hey, big guy, sun's getting real low. Why do you keep saying that to me? Oh, man. Anyways, let's just dive into it because plenty happened last night. Like Gargano came back in this opening segment.
Yeah, that was cool.
So my favorite 2.0 act, because they have such great chemistry, and Trick really is. He's a funny dude. He is all in on I think Trick is going to go far because he is all in on sort of the borderline corny sports entertainment stuff. So Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams open the show. Trick he's very into this. He's like, man, we got the championship. He has the ring announcer repeat that Carmelo is the new North American champion. Trick says, we look good. We look like money, but we have gold now. He says, we're not humble. Tonight, we're going to have a Mellobration. And Carmelo says, 4.5 months ago, I came here. I blew through the competition in the tournament, proved I'm the final boss, waited for my opportunity. Last week, I pulled a swerve on Swerve. He reiterated, when I shoot, I don't miss. From now on, I'm calling the shots. I'm the leader of the new school. As long as this title's around my waist, this is the A championship. I don't care if Ciampa has a problem with it. I don't care who has a problem with it. I said what I said, and then Gargano comes out.
Yeah. He's like, hey, I don't think we've been formally introduced. Hi, I'm John Gargano. John says, I've had eyes on you. I've held the North American title more than anyone, more times than anyone. Just want to come out and say, hey, congratulations. We're having fun here. This is a celebration, right? We're having fun. He says, I've been having a lot of fun recently with weddings, bachelor parties, honeymoons. It's been tons of fun, but now that Austin Theory's on Raw, Indy's gotten married, Candice is home pregnant, I have lost my way. And he says, I've been trying to figure out what's next for me. And what's next is to go back and do what I was put on this earth to do, which was wrestle. And wrestle someone like Carmelo Hayes. So he tells Carmelo, do you want to take a shot at John Gargano? And then Trick says, oh, did you know that Indy, your daughter, has been in Hayes' DMs all week? And Gargano's like, oh, that's funny. Wow, that's really funny. And Carmelo's like, that's your daughter, man, we're talking about here. And John says, yeah, I know. And there's my son-in-law, Dexter Loomis, is behind Hayes and Trick. He tries to put Trick in silence, and then Hayes kind of pulls him off Loomis, and they leave the ring. And
Gargano takes the title with him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I thought this was actually a pretty strong opening sequence. It's going to be interesting to see Gargano do the honors for Carmelo Hayes.
It'll be a good match, though.
It'll be a great match. It'll be a really good match.
They did announce, they had the invitation thing later on, that they're having like a Loomis haunted house thing where Hayes is going to go and try to get his title back.
Yeah, it's going to be goofy, but it might be entertaining. Trick is funny.
Maybe we'll have a zombie ref there again.
Yeah, that could be. I like that he has been a mainstay. After that, we had a pretty quick Odyssey Jones-Andre Chase rematch from the tournament.
This was really quick.
Odyssey Jones picks up the win with a splash.
Mm-hmm. Then we get Diamond Mine promo. Malcolm Bivens says, hey, earlier on I was doing what I do best, which is minding my own business and not getting jumped in the parking lot. And all I heard were people talking about asking for title shots. He says, that's crazy to me because week after week, the Creed brothers have earned that opportunity. But now that I see how NXT operates, we're not going to ask for anything. We're just going to take it. And so we get the Creed brothers versus Imperium next. Creed brothers have the upper hand, and then Kushida and Ikemen Jiro run out. Brutus leaves his brother to go and brawl with them on the ramp. And this gives Marcel Bartel an opportunity to roll up Julius Creed to get the win. And so Diamond Mine and Kushida and Jiro continue to brawl up the ramp backstage. MSK attacks Imperium from behind, sends them out, and challenges to a match next week at Halloween Havoc. There was a good amount of boos and you suck chants for MSK.
So this is that weird thing that goes back months where like a couple people in the audience were booing him. Now it's like the entirety of the whatever they're calling
it
this
wasn't
place
the
now.
entirety.
There was a lot, dude.
It was. I was going to say
a
about
lot.
60-40 because there were some cheers for MSK.
Yeah, there were some. You're right. But like, man, I was like, why has this grown? Like, what is the deal? I criticize MSK as the next guy when they came in because I feel like they hadn't really established much character stuff for me to get behind. But I really love them now. I think they're fantastic. I don't know what this is all about. They're a really fun team. I don't know what the deal is.
I don't know either. I don't get it. Oh gosh.
Oh man, this is great. I love that. This
was awful,
dude. Man,
talk about zero chemistry.
Oh no, I actually thought that they were good together. I really did. There's something about Von Wagner that like
it literally felt like they met for the first time right before shooting this.
He ain't trying to be anything he's not. So this is great. So Kyle O'Reilly, they're in the woods. Kyle O'Reilly shows up on his mountain bike. He's ready to do some extreme bike.
He's got everything. He's got the helmet.
Like
he's got the backpack with the water thing in it and all that.
Yeah, like somebody dropped him in an REI and he just went running around. And then Von Wagner pulls up in his truck. He's like, "Hey Kyle, how you doing?" And he's like, "Hey man, where's your bike? Where's your gear?" And he's like, "Oh, that's not the kind of training we're going to do today. We're going to teach ourselves how to get rid of a dead body." And he's like, "What?" So they start walking, and Vaughn finds like this moderately large log. No, it's not even a log. It's more of like
a large branch.
It is a large branch.
It's maybe like 6 feet in length.
Yeah. So
maybe, I don't know.
Like 5, maybe.
Yes, 8 inches in diameter.
Right. So he puts it over his shoulder. Now, look, I am not physically, as what they say, physically fit. I could do what Von Wagner was doing here. He just put this large branch on his shoulder and he started lightly jogging with it. And then he stopped and he handed it over to Kyle. He said, "Okay, Kyle, your turn now, buddy." And so Kyle did the same thing. And then they start taking an axe to a tree. And at one point, Von Wagner just looks too tired, so he stops. And then
the sun goes down. Yeah,
the sun goes down. They have a nice fire going, and you think that maybe something's gonna have some romance is gonna brew between these two dudes. But instead, Von Wagner's like, "Hey, we got one more exercise to happen." I'm like, "Yeah," and then he just takes out some brewskis and he's like, "We got some 12-ounce curls."
Yeah, and Kyle O'Reilly acts like he's excited about it, but you can tell he's not.
He does not drink beer, man.
No, he doesn't.
And then he says, "Von Wagner, you're pretty out there, man. But then again, so am I. If we get on the same page, we could really do some damage." Von Wagner says, "Yeah, let's kick some ass." This was amazing.
Zero chemistry.
This is what I'm talking about when it's like this shit it ain't boring, it ain't good, but it's fucking hilarious. And I love this kind of stuff. And Von Wagner, he has a very quiet charisma to him. I just don't know how well that's going to translate in the world of pro wrestling. Hey, Kyle.
We got a quick Cora Jade video package, and then we have a Joe Gacy promo. So it seems like. It says, "Last week was a setback. Maybe NXT 2.0 isn't such a safe space after all, but the mission remains the same. We don't need violence to settle our differences. We won't be triggered by the words of fragile people who don't understand them and microaggressions, whatever microaggressions they may throw our way. We may be alone, but I have empathy. And I will speak," this is Gacy saying, "I will speak for us as a coalition, and they will be stronger than they could be as individuals." And he reaches his hand out to what looks like a pane of glass or a two-way mirror or something. Or maybe he's just looking at the mirror. And on the other side, Harlan appears, his reflection appears in the mirror, and he reaches out his hand too, so their hands are touching, with glass in between. And then Gacy tells Harlan, "Take my hand, little snowflake."
I'm telling you, man. Harlan was able to get out on some sort of work release. That's why he showed up unexpectedly at NXT.
So this is a flashback, is what you're telling me.
It's either a flashback or he's like, okay, you got to go back. We already know a blue jumpsuit means nonviolent, which may be overcrowding because they're in Florida, and they let him out on supervised release, but he has to go back because you don't need to get out forever. He has to go back, serve some more time, and this is Joe Gacy going back and saying, hey, we're on the same page, man. We were there together in early January. We were there. I'm telling you, it did look much more like prison than a mirror, though.
It was hard to tell. We couldn't see anything in the background because it wasn't lit.
But there's a partition next to Harland and a glass thing, and it wasn't lit because they don't have the budget to actually do a prison.
No, obviously I know. That's why I thought it was more subjective.
Let me ask you this:
as opposed to just a prison thing.
If there was a telephone there,
yeah, that'd be prison, without a doubt.
Can somebody run a poll? Was it prison or a mirror that he's looking into?
Because I know there was a partition, but that could have just easily been like a frame or something.
Mm-hmm.
Because we didn't get the full scope of the space, so it's hard to tell exactly what it is.
Yeah.
Robot Empire asked Larson, "Are you implying this was NXT 2.0 getting artistic?"
It does kind of feel like, the roles are a little bit reversed here. Usually I'm the one who's thinking that maybe they're going to give us a little bit more than they usually do. Now I think you might be suggesting that this time. Let's see what this poll says. Immediately. Wow. 90% say it's a prison. Oh, man. That's great. I love your idea, though. I really do love your idea. If they get that weird with it, I would love it. I think it'd be great. If HBK just watched Fight Club and he was like, oh, I hope this whole thing is just all HBK. Like, this is his masterpiece. He's like, oh, this is my time to shine. Paul's in the Hunter's still
he's
recuperating.
Yeah.
I'm going to show him what I could do. Anyways, after that, these losers, Legado del Fantasma, come out. We get a Santos. Is that? Yeah. We get a Santos promo. He's talking about, I've been lucky throughout all my life. And I'm thinking, man, all you dudes do or lose. And he says, but I've been lucky my whole life except last week. He says, hey, I've got beef with you, Carmelo. You're a lucky son of a bitch. And then Cora Jade interrupts his promo. I'm like, this girl's going to get her dude's ass whooped. And sure enough, that's what happened. So she interrupts the promo. We get Cora Jade versus Elektra Lopez. Once again, Cora Jade gets a surprise roll-up. Later on, poor Trey Baxter's getting his ass whooped by Legado.
Mm-hmm.
But before that, we had an interview with Tommaso Ciampa, Braun Breaker. They're asked if they can coexist. And there's been a lot made on social media about WWE being self-aware about all the coexisting storylines. And I don't know. What's your take on that? Do you think that their social media is being a little too cute talking about? Yeah, you think so?
I think acknowledging the trope and recognizing that it's overused, but still using it doesn't make it any better than not recognizing it at all. You know what I mean? It's like, you're doing something repeatedly ad nauseum, but rather than, all right, let's be a little more creative in terms of how we develop feuds, you just be like, hey, we know we're doing this too much. That doesn't make it any better.
It's interesting that, because I firmly believe that the right hand never knows what the left hand's doing, and this is just like whoever does their social media having a finger on the pulse of stuff and getting a bit cute with it. It's interesting that it'll be interesting to see if that gets clamped down a little bit, because acknowledging that you're doing something silly doesn't make it better, but like it's not like Vince or Bruce is the one operating the social media. It's like whoever's operating their social media is kind of taking the piss out of the fact that they're being redundant with these stories.
I mean, like on air when they reference it, like
and
McKenzie
they do,
mention it, and then of course on Raw they mention it. like you're shining a spotlight on something they go to way too often, and whether you do it tongue in cheek or kind of with a little, try to make it sarcastic or whatever, doesn't necessarily make it, any better.
So
then we know that you're aware that you do it too much, and that's like, okay, if you're aware that you do it too much enough to make a joke out of it, why not try something else?
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. White Brownie here in chat has the ratings 606,000. So isn't that down? Weren't they at like?
I thought they were in the 500s last week, but the demo number is up because it was 0.13 last week.
Yeah, the demo is up slightly, so they've been able to. Yeah, check on what it was last.
I'll check it.
I thought it was 640 last week. I'll
check.
So yeah. Anyways, they're asked if they can coexist. Braun says he's like, "Hey, Ciampa, I know how this goes. I've seen this. I've been around for 4 months now." He says, "We're not going to do the thing where you accidentally hit me. I eat the pin." Ciampa says, "Look, man, you said last week you're going to keep me safe till Havoc. I'm going to follow your lead, champ."
Oh, I looked on the wrong day. There we go. I'm still looking on Wednesdays for NXT ratings.
Oh. So then we get some promotional.
Last week was it's 632. You're right. It was down 632 at a 0.15 last week.
I mean, what was the week? What was the week that it did like 580 or something like that? Or was that like way back?
2 weeks ago. That must have been a couple weeks back.
That was the 2.0 thing when it was like really low?
Or maybe that was here. Let's see what there was 2 weeks ago.
So it dropped. It dropped like 40. Was it 30, 40,000?
So 2 weeks ago it was 632 with a 0.13. That's the 0.13 I was thinking.
So that like 18 to 49 batch of people are not going anywhere seemingly. At least for now.
Seemingly pretty consistent there.
Yeah.
The number they want to get up is the one consistent.
It's they're just shedding the old people. They're like, where the old timers are like, I'm not into this. I got to go to bed. I got to get a Golden Corral in the morning.
So yeah, next we got Io Shirai versus JC Jane versus Persia. And then the winner of this gets to spin the wheel.
They got to spin the wheel.
And then make the deal.
Yeah.
They were trying to make it sound like this was a huge thing. Like if you want to be the one that spins the wheel, even though it's
completely random. It is completely random.
In kayfabe, it's chance. I know it's not in reality, but kayfabe, it's all chance.
Okay, so you think this is all rigged? You think
they know what stipulation they got booked for these things, of course.
There's a dude back there. Like stopping where they wanted to stop.
There's an apparatus.
Man, there ain't no apparatus. Look, what did the thing end up being? It being a ladder match.
Yeah,
there was like 5 different options on this thing. They would have done any of them if they stopped on any of them.
No, they're not going to leave all that to chance. That's completely worked.
No way, man. Absolutely, I think this is all real.
There you go. Roman Empire says you can put a magnet on the back of the wheel
what?
And on the pointer.
Really?
Yeah, there's ways to do it.
Oh,
you don't need someone back there physically stopping it.
What do you think the difference between a Scareway to Hell ladder match is and a normal ladder match?
The name.
You think JC Jane was supposed to win this thing? So like she took herself out with that suicide dive, landed right on her head, like on her face, basically.
Yeah.
And then Io comes out, does a moonsault, and JC sort of has a really soft landing on that. Trainer comes out, they go to picture in picture. And so you can start to see what's going on in the picture. And like Io down there on the floor gets Persia in like a chin lock. And the ref comes down there and starts talking to them. And they're
Io's going, okay.
Okay. And even Persia in the chin lock goes like this. Like that.
I know, she's looking at the ref. I know.
And like they're in full close up on these girls. These women, sorry. And so I kind of feel like the ref was like, hey, taking JC out of this match. Io, you're going to go over with moonsault.
Well, then they go back in the ring after the commercial break, and the first thing Io does is goes and talks to the ref. Because, they got to redo, obviously, the finish of the match. It was a triple threat. Now it's one-on-one. Whatever spots they had booked out, they have to kind of just adapt or ditch.
Yeah.
Just get to the finish of this match. As far as who's supposed to win, I have no idea.
Yeah.
Io ended up getting the win.
Mm-hmm.
Hitting the moonsault to get the win. And so she goes up the ramp. Zoe Stark comes out, joins her. And then Indy Hartwell goes to the ring, joins Persia. Io spins the wheel, and it's a Scareway to Hell ladder match
next
week. It's just going to be a ladder match.
Frederick the Dino says maybe it's a reference to the Stairway to Hell match from ECW where it's a ladder match, but with weapons suspended above the ring. So maybe there will be a little bit more to this.
Yeah, one could hope.
With some weapons.
One could hope.
With some weapons.
Yeah.
Anyways, after that, backstage, Trey Baxter getting his ass beat down by Legado while Cora Jade can kind of just stand there and get berated by Elektra Lopez. Briggs and Jensen, Briggs and Stratton come riding in to make the save in advance of their tag team match with Legado. We had a quick Tony D'Angelo video package and then another solo Uso video package. I kind of like these. These are kind of cool.
Yeah, he's making his debut next week. This next bit was okay. So Kushida's he's using the restroom. The men's
taking
room.
Taking a piss.
He is, and then Ikemen Jiro comes in and scares him.
Yeah,
while he's still
going
to the bathroom. Yeah,
tag team. At that point, tag team's done. I'm not tagging with you, dude.
Oh yeah, but it potentially gets worse. So he's talking about how he's excited to be fighting side by side with his hero, and Kushida says, "Well, if we're a team, then I need to be style strong too, because that's Jiro's thing.
Yeah,
he's the king of style strong, right?
Yeah, it's great."
And Jiro says, "No, you're Kushida," and then he takes his suitcase, dumps the contents on the bathroom floor, and Kushida's like, "No,
what are you doing?
Stop!"
There's piss.
One of the most vile places in any place is the floor of a men's room.
Yeah.
And so he's dumping all stuff on the floor, and Kushida's rightfully losing his mind. He's like, "Don't do that."
Yeah, there's piss everywhere. Braun Breaker was just in here. He doesn't know how to use a urinal.
And so he gets Kushida's vest.
He thinks the drain on the floor is the urinal.
So he gets Kushida's denim shirt and vest and gives it to him. Kushida puts that on and gives him the sunglasses. And Jiro says, "It's time for you to go back to the future." So whatever changes they made to Kushida's character, where he ditched the Back to the Future references, they're going right back to that.
Oh, come on. It's better anyways. You know it's better. Back to the Future is a classic franchise. Him being Back to the Future is great.
I don't know.
You used to complain about dudes just being badasses. That's what he was. Come on, man. Back to the Future. It's great. He's Marty.
Yeah.
But he smells like pee now. He's Pee Marty.
That's a problem.
He was cool. He was like, whatever.
Yeah, I just don't know where this is going.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's going back to the future, man. He's like, I just wish that you wouldn't have soaked my jacket in Braun Breaker's piss.
Yeah, I know.
He's like, Braun, stop peeing in the floor drain, man.
I mean, you go to basically any men's room anywhere, and there's pee on the floor.
Don't be a butt sucker. I'm about to be the next NXT champion.
Whether Braun Breaker's been there or not, there's probably going to be a pee on the floor.
You want a friend? Get a dog. Tony D'Angelo took on some big, giant jobber guy. What was his name?
I have here Ru Fang.
Yeah, that sounds right. That's a cool name. Ru Fang. Tony wins. This time I realized that he needs to ditch the Northern Light suplex part of his finish. Just go straight to the crossroads.
The transition from Northern Lights.
It's too much.
Yeah, it is.
It's like a whole sequence.
Yeah.
So yeah. I mean, it's the kind of thing where, like, if it's 2K19, you have two opportunities to reverse it. I hate those ones.
Oh yeah.
Because you got the L1 and then it just gives you the prompt again.
But then your opponent can't reverse anything for a while.
Yeah.
When that happens, we get the double. So yeah, Tony D'Angelo wins that. Then he has an interview, and he's asked about the producer for lashing out, having gone missing. And Tony says, "Swear it wasn't me. I don't know anything about it." The producer's name is Mark.
Mark. Yeah.
Mark.
Yeah.
And then he gives Samantha, the interviewer, some money, tells her to get something nice and forget about it.
Hey, he says, like, "Hey, I totally killed the guy, but hey, forget about it. It's all good."
Then we had Duke's poker room, and this is awful. So we get his inner monologue while he's dealing and playing a hand.
So, okay, we realize, so by the way, next week, I think we're all here on the channel, on this Twitch channel, going to do Halloween Havoc watch along. Yes?
Sure, we can do that.
Okay. But on normal weeks, so as not to torture Larson, the Enforcer and myself were over at MF Steve here's Twitch channel watching NXT 2.0 watch along. So we were doing that last night. We realized he's not the dealer. He is the dealer player. It's like a backroom poker deal where he's playing as well.
There's a conflict of interest there, though. That's why when you have like a professional poker situation, whoever's the dealer is not actively playing in the game too.
No, you can have friends get together and play.
I understand that.
Yeah.
But if you want like a real poker room situation,
this is not that. This is not that.
Obviously not. For a variety of reasons. So we get his inner monologue.
He's only wearing a golden vest. I'm almost positive he's not wearing any pants or underwear.
Yeah, this is all bad. So, but this is all bad. Anyway, so we get his inner monologue. He's trying to figure out what everybody has, whether you should call full, blah, 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 blah. And then he says, my poker room is always open. You can start calling me the house because in the ring and in this poker room, the house always wins.
So is that going to be like his name or just his finisher name, or is it going to be a nickname? Duke the House Hudson. And then he'll just be House Hudson. House Hudson's got a good ring to it.
That does. I want to talk about this next bit. This next bit might be my favorite part of the show. So we cut backstage and Jensen's been laid out by Legado. Briggs runs in, sees Jensen there and goes, Legado! And then he gets taken out.
It was like the Klingon death yell. It was like it was like Kirk calling out Khan.
Oh,
God!
Oh my gosh!
Legado!
So Legado.
And then Joaquin Wilde with his amazing cape walks by and Raul next to him, and he's like, "Well, you wanted me. You got it." That was hilarious. That was so great. So you get Legado versus Briggs and Stratton. Legado gets the win here. Because I guess Briggs and Stratton were just like already beat up from those chair shots.
Yeah, pretty
Legado!
Oh, that was great. See, that's the bad stuff that I can find hilarious. Is that type of stuff?
I know it's so
hilarious.
Great. Yeah.
Then we get a Raquel Gonzalez, Mandy Rose video package hyping up their match at Halloween Havoc. Didn't mention it. We also had another one of those Dakota Kai packages that happened earlier in the show.
Yeah, I was surprised. I didn't notice anybody on Twitter breaking down the shit that was being thrown in there, but it's totally Dakota Kai. It was probably all stuff that related to Dakota Kai.
Mm-hmm.
That's my guess anyways. Yeah, we had Mandy Rose versus Raquel Gonzalez video package, so Raquel's like, this is nothing revelatory here. Raquel's like, I like the element of surprise. Mandy bit off more than she could chew. Mandy, with a Matt Chat question, says, I used to wonder how people could look over me given the way that I look. But that stopped when Toxic Attraction came around, and she says she's going to look better than Raquel as champion. And then Raquel, they bleep out when Raquel said shit, which was weird.
What, Braun Breaker can say it?
Did you notice that as well? Because I
didn't notice that. No.
I was watching on Twitch, so I don't know if maybe where Wrestling Streams HD is from.
I didn't notice it. I didn't notice any bleeping.
Okay, all right. Well, it wasn't a bleep. It was the
they just cut it out.
It was a drop. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't notice it.
Anyways, so that happened. After that, we had Trick and Mello in the locker room. They're looking for They're looking for the title, but they notice Loomis's locker because it's lit up with a bunch of silly Halloween decorations. And they open it up. There's a drawing in there, and Trick looks at it. He's looking at it back or on the wrong side. And it says, I think they wrote it in the Da Vinci Code, which was a pretty funny line.
It is pretty funny.
And then Mello grabs it, and they've been invited to a haunted house. And Trick is not happy with that because he does not like haunted houses. And Mello's like, I just need to get my title back, so they're going to go. This should be pretty entertaining. I really like all the players here.
Yeah. Then we get... What the heck? I didn't write notes for the main event. Then we get
Ultra Zero Star, so they didn't bleep it out on my feed. Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, I didn't notice it. Then we get LA Knight versus Grayson Waller. Winner of this. Oh, I didn't have notes for that. Sorry. Didn't separate it. Winner of this gets to be host of Halloween Havoc. LA Knight is hosting Halloween Havoc. He gets to win with a BFT.
Yeah. 2-minute match. Yeah. Easiest gig in my life. Yeah. And then we had our main event. Tommaso Ciampa and Braun Breaker versus Grizzled Young Veterans. Man, I really want Grizzled Young Veterans to go do something better than this because they were just getting their ass handed. So they were isolating Ciampa for a while. Breaker gets distracted, so he's not there for Ciampa's tag. Eventually, when he is ready for the tag, Ciampa comes over, gets pissed off at him for not being available for the tag earlier, slaps him to tag him in. Breaker just completely annihilates Grizzled Young Veterans himself for the win, and then they just sort of stare at each other as Ciampa walks off with the title. Anyways, let's answer some questions. I put up a Patreon thread, but I sort of just opened it up for questions in general, given that it's 2.0. I don't know how many people are going to have questions about that.
Care about it that
so
much, yeah.
I just figured, hey, we could do a bit of a friendo mailbag here.
Sure.
Let's see.
Nocturno with the sub. There was another sub earlier, too, and I unfortunately lost it up here, so my apologies.
Let's see here. View. Come on. Load up, Patreon. Here we go. Jay Singh says, if we all agree that AEW Dark and Elevation serves as AEW's developmental show, what could Dark learn from NXT and vice versa? I mean, the one thing about NXT is that it's not completely predictable. I mean, you know, Odyssey Jones had already beat Andre Chase in the breakout tournament. I thought maybe perhaps Andre Chase would get one up on him in a sneaky manner. Still not sure what's going to go down in Halloween Havoc. So I think maybe some of the whenever I have watched Dark or Elevation, I have known the outcome of every single match.
Yeah.
So maybe some of the unpredictability aspects of it. I honestly don't watch Dark or Elevation at all. So in terms of the production, I don't know if they've stepped up doing video packages and stuff for the production aspect of it. But NXT does plenty of that stuff as well.
Yeah. No, I think, you know, they do incorporate some video production stuff. I think they try to do stuff that kind of enhances stories that might be being told on Dynamite Rampage.
I think it'd be kind of interesting. I'm sorry, I just cut you off.
That's fine.
Okay.
No, that was it.
I do think it would maybe encourage me personally as a fan to watch Dark and Elevation a bit more if they had maybe somehow their own division exclusively for that show, like maybe a breakout type division where instead of like an NXT you have a breakout tournament. What if like they had some sort of division for people who are going to be on Dark and Elevation more exclusively? Maybe that would be cool.
Yeah, maybe. Dan Daniels, book Friday's SmackDown in case there's travel issues coming back from Saudi Arabia. Charlotte's not on the card, so she'll be at SmackDown. Do you see this going to be the Usos versus Hurt Business in the kickoff?
All my confidence points on the Usos. Yeah, I did see that.
They got Hurt Business back together. They've completely dropped the ball on having. There's been zero interaction, basically, between Lashley and Cedric and Shelton since Hurt Business got back together.
We have no idea why they're back together, what the purpose of that was. We have nothing there. We have nothing. Yeah. To me, that's a more egregious crime, if you will, than tweeting out, can they coexist? Or even acknowledging story tropes. It's like, just give me, if you're going to do that, if you're going to be clever with us, just at least focus on character motivation, story beats that we need to see on TV.
Yes.
It's the bare minimum to ask. Let's see here. Anthony R., do you think next week we see another clip of Von Wagner showing him how to hide a dead body? Well, I think we need Von Wagner to sort of start opening that conversation. The conversation.
I think before or after they cut, maybe he tried to. That's why, hey, let's have some beers.
Loosen the conversation up a little bit. Yeah. He's like, no, seriously, Kyle, I was watching this Dateline the other day, and there was a large man who found a dead body on his property, but this man didn't know how to do that. How would you approach that, Kyle? What? How would I approach what? Do you like sports? Jay Singh says, no, that was already Jay Singh. Mose supposes, if you were attending Halloween Havoc, what wrestlers would you dress up as? We got to dress up as Gacy and Harland.
Okay. Which one of us is shaving our head then?
I'll put a bald cap on.
I'll
put a bald cap because he's smooth like a baby. I'd put a bald cap on, and you can maybe get some sort of pompadour wig, and I'll put on the
sure
the blue jumpsuit.
The jumpsuit.
Yeah.
Okay. White Brownie, which champion or champions are in danger of losing at Halloween Havoc? I would not be surprised if Raquel lost, because not only does Mandy have Toxic Attraction, you got Dakota Kai potentially getting involved. Yeah, that would most likely title change. I'd probably say that's it.
I agree with that. I don't know about champ. What's the tag title scene like at Halloween Havoc? Is MSK
so
defending?
MSK is defending against Imperium. I don't think MSK is going to lose that. And then there's that triple threat women's ladder match. We get Io and Zoe against a Toxic Attraction and Indy and Persia.
I could see Toxic Attraction coming away with all the gold.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be a thing. Let's see here. War Machine, if Worlds Collide happens next year, which faction versus faction match would you guys prefer to see? Legado versus Gallus or Bloodline versus Imperium?
Oh, Bloodline versus Imperium. Get Walter and Roman in the ring.
Yeah, it's that. As much as I love Gallus, I'd love to see that.
Bear Winning, what do you think of a heel faction with Andre Chase as the dean, Drew Gulak as the athletics director, Joe Gacy as the guidance counselor, and Harland as their star pupil?
I don't like it. I like Gacy and Harland doing either my idea or Larson's idea. I like them both. I think they're both good ideas. David Matushek, if any NXT wrestler commissioned you to do art for them, who would it be and how much would you accept? Oh, I'd do it free. I'd do it for free, gratis. And I'd do it for any of those dudes. I think it'd be fun. That'd be a cool project to do.
Fear and Loathing with sub. Thank you. Also says pick a male wrestler from the main roster to send to 2.0, similar to Mandy Rose, how she went from the main roster.
Otis.
NXT.
Otis.
That's a good answer.
Oh yeah, I'm back. My beach. Get them back together, man. Alex Foster. What wrestlers would have actually done better on 2.0? He mentions Percy Watson. Let's say Percy Watson seems like he's like a proto 2.0 guy. Who'd have done better in 2.0? I wonder if Chad Gable would have done better in 2.0.
Oh, maybe.
Like American Alpha might have done better in 2.0. Jason Jordan, maybe. I could see that.
Favorite customer? Do you think Dakota Kai will return to NXT or go to main anytime soon? Those video packages they've been running seem like it's Dakota Kai.
Absolutely, yeah, I agree. Let's see here. Xavier Gray says, "What do we think the stipulation is going to be for Mandy Rose and Raquel Gonzalez?"
Oh, what's the spin the wheel, make the deal stip going to be there? Well, Steve thinks it's all a shoot, so we can't predict it.
I think it's going to be some sort of no DQ.
Probably.
Because that would make all the sense in the world, because Raquel's going to have, like you said, the odds stacked way against her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's going to be the deal.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like I said, it's a shoot, so it could be anything. Could be Scareway. They could have 2 Scareway to Hell matches, ladder matches, man.
No chance. No chance.
I like that. I don't think the technology exists to rig this the wheel.
I know. We have the entirety of human knowledge available to us in our pockets on whatever we want.
Yeah.
And yet they can't work out a mechanism that could give you the result you want when you spin a wheel.
A magnet? No. Fake legs? It's just probably some jabroni behind the wheel. Anyways, that's going to do it for us. Thanks, everybody, for hanging out. We appreciate it. Till next time, we'll talk to you later.
Goodbye.
We can send people to the moon, but we can't rig a wheel.
I know.